Hi guys, I'm Lauren, that awkward plink girl. Welcome to my channel. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you guys today. Thank you so much for coming back for more planty craziness. Oh my gosh. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're all about the planty awesomeness. The last episode I went and I planted some of the seeds that I pollinated, kind of showed you how to pollinate just a little bit. I don't know if that was helpful or not, but definitely check out that video if that's something that you guys are interested in. Today we are going to go over how I water my peperomia and keep them super, super happy. I have a whole big thing about soil with peperomia, different types of peperomia. I am a huge fan of Peperomia. They're cheap, inexpensive, and definitely give you some visual cues on how to take care of them and what the heck they need. So that is a win-win-win in my book. So today I'm going to teach you guys and show you guys how I kind of tell what my Peperomias need and when they need it as far as water goes. So if that's something that interests you, definitely hit like and subscribe, and let's get into it today. So Peperomia napolinites, with Peperomia you want to feel their leaves, and if they feel firm, they don't need water. This particular one, I feel the smaller leaves, and you can see that there's a little bit of give. You feel the thickness of it. If it's a little thicker, then you leave it, you don't need to water it. But the bigger leaves, if you feel them, these ones are softer. These ones are actually older leaves that are passing on. They're giving up their energy for photosynthesis, so they are going to be softer, and you think that it needs water, but you go off of the other ones, the first ones, because they're the healthy ones. Now this one over here, they have super thick chunky leaves, so there is a little bit of give with the little ones, but with these ones you really want to go and feel a couple of them. And feel the bigger, thicker leaves, and those are the ones you go by. When the bigger, thicker leaves start feeling a little softer, a little squishier, not firm, then this plant is going to need some water. But with this particular one, you definitely want to feel multiple leaves because there's multiple plants in one pot and they're very compact. And over here is Peperomia Incana. These leaves are supposed to be very, very firm and thick, not flexible at all. So when they're soft and bendable, pliable like a puppy's ear, then they definitely need to get watered. So like this is when they would need some water. This is Peperomia Graveolins. The leaves are very, very thick. Even when I'm water propagating, I still check the leaves just to see, but as long as the leaves stay thick, we're good. If they start getting soft and mushy and squishy, then we have problems. Peperomia Orba Vareigata. These ones, they're supposed to be firm, not flexible at all. They're supposed to feel kind of like a cardboard box, like a cereal box. So it's not supposed to be flexible when you're kind of pinching and squeezing them like this. So this one definitely needs some water because I can fully bend the leaves. So you can see here. The leaves are very, very flexible, so it definitely needs some water. This is not firm. But note that I am feeling multiple leaves. I'm feeling the bigger ones and the smaller ones. If the bigger ones with this one are pliable, then it needs water. Peperomia Rubella is a little harder to tell. Basically you want to find a bigger leaf and feel it and see if it's firm or soft. If it's firm, then you leave it alone. Even if it's dry, you leave it alone. If you overwater this, it sheds its leaves, and that's how you end up with these big bare spots in the stems. So, yep, if it's squishy, then give it water. And this is a spag propagation. I just feel the leaves just to check, but for the most part, if there is any type of moisture in the bag, you're good.
Peperomia Abricos, it's a Caparata. With these ones, the outer edges will sometimes be soft, but you want to feel the middle and make sure that's kind of firm and has a little resistance. Same with this mystery Caparata that I have. The edges are going to bend a little bit, but you want to feel and make sure that the middle has some thickness and has a little bit of resistance. If it has resistance, it doesn't need water. If it's very squishy, it needs water. Obtusifolia, these are supposed to be very firm, like cardboard. So you see how it's not giving at all there, so we're not going to water this at all. But if it was soft and pliable, then we would want, then we would want to water it. These are the Peperomia Orba. Again, this is how it is supposed to be. It's supposed to have a little bit of firmness to it and pop right back when you're trying to bend it. It's not supposed to be all flexible and bendy, so we're not going to water that one either. This is the Peperomia Obtusifolia. It's kind of like a cousin to the Ginny, basically. This one is a perfect example of one that needs water. So I filled the biggest one first, and then I'm moving up the stem, and you can see how they're all more bendable, more pliable. This is a newer leaf, and newer leaves are always going to be more flexible. That's why I say to go for the firmer leaves when you're checking. So this one needs water. This is another one that desperately needs water. These leaves are supposed to be firm, thick, not pliable at all. They're supposed to feel almost like a succulent. The baby leaves are always, again, they're thinner, so they're going to be more pliable. But when you feel the thicker leaves, they should not be given way like this. They should be very, very firm, almost like a thick plastic. So I'm gonna top water this one. You can top water, you don't have to. I'm just going to top water it because I'm not willing to bottom water it right this second, so it gives it a little bit more moisture, but I want to bottom water this. Top water, it just takes way too long with these terracotta pots. This is a Cupid Peperomia. These ones are a little bit more difficult. They're the most difficult of all the Peperomia I have because their leaves are always pliable. Their leaves are always flexible. When they are incredibly limp and feel like they have no moisture in them, then you want to water it. This is also the only Peperomia that does not like a terracotta pot, and I have had to put it in a ceramic pot. And I bottom water it, or I top water this one maybe once a month. It's not very often at all because the stems hold on a lot of water, but the leaves don't. You see how thick the stems are? So this one's just a little bit harder. These are some of my Peperomia propagations. Some people like to have their Peperomia living in sphagnum moss. As long as the sphagnum moss is slightly damp and the leaves are thick and succulent like this, it's good. So, like this one, the leaves are thinner, but they're still thick, and the sphagnum is still a little damp. This one over here, that's just rooting hormone powder. But this one over here is clearly dry. Their leaves are a little squishy. This one I would need some water. So that's a prime example of that. Let me cover this back up here. These are water propagations. Basically, as long as the water is still in there, I leave it alone, and then I'll add more water. Over here is some more water propagations, but because the jar is bigger, when the water gets murky like this, I will change it. You can see that there's roots and little leaves growing in there, but it does need to be changed when it starts getting murky and bad bacteria in there. This is string of turtles. I'm propagating. This is not normally how it is. But when you're checking your string of turtles to see if it needs water, you just feel the thicker leaves. Not the thinner leaves, not the small leaves. They start out really tiny and then they get bigger. So you just kind of want to feel and make sure that they're not squishy. And if they're starting to get a little squishy and flexible, then you would like to go and water it, provided that the soil is dry. If they're squishy and the soil is wet, then you're rotting them and you need to get them out of there. Right, and this is how I bottom water all of my Peperomia. I just pour water in a bucket. I do not fill up the water all the way because you don't want it spilling into the soil. You want it just to kind of cover the base, but still have enough for your peperomia to soak up. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. So this is a little plastic pot. I keep it I keep it in a cover pot. So that's why that one is there. And normally I would just pour it in, but for this example I wanted to show you, you have to hold it in a little bit in order to get it to soak up enough for it to stand up, in case you have that situation. With terracotta pots it's easier because you just plop them in. The terracotta will actually act like a sponge and soak up the water as well, and then it'll fully moisten instead of just having to soak up some water through holes in the bottom of the pot. It really just depends. And then you check and make sure that the soil is damp on top. See, you can see the dirt is sticking to my finger, so that's how you know that the soil is damp for sure, not just by temperature. And you feel the leaves to double check that they're getting a little bit more succulent. You just want to make sure that they don't have to be completely firm, but just more than they were. You want to see a difference, and then you just plop it back where it goes. Easy peasy.
That's it for the video today, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this kind of helps you a little bit and helps you, love your peperomia a little bit more and kind of understand what's going on with it. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. You can hit me up on Instagram at @awkwardplantgirl. I always leave the link in the description below. Make sure you comment down today what was the most helpful tip for you as far as peperomia go, or which peperomia you find the most challenging, because I definitely want to be able to help you a little bit more, and I can make a separate episode about that specific one if that's what you need. So just let me know, because I'm happy to help. But if you have any more questions, definitely let me know. Thank you for coming along on this crazy journey. I hope this kind of helped you a little bit. I don't know what's happening in the next one, so make sure you subscribe to find out. And I know it will be full of plenty awesomeness. And I will see you in the next one. Bye! Thank you! Bye!